Studioeast. Now, let's go live to Studioeast.
Welcome to the G-Spot entrance G at Gurney Mills for our 95 Will Rock Studioeast. Everybody say hi. Yay!
Hey!
There's a large echo chamber here at the G-Spot. If you guys, Cairo Knife Fight is here. Before we start the actual interview, a couple of things. Have you guys ever played a mall before?
No.
No, first time playing a mall. Congratulations.
I was wondering just before whether Tiffany was ever on this actual stage back in the day.
Yeah, this is an exciting place for you guys to play. So, and I do a disclaimer. The intro for this talks about it being unplugged. Cairo Knife Fight is definitely not unplugged. There are more chords up here than I'd ever seen before in a Studioeast performance. And Nick and George informed me that this is actually the stripped down version, though, of what you guys take out and do for a show. We'll get into that in a minute. First, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Why is the band named Cairo Knife Fight?
Well, I met a man in an airport lounge in New Zealand, and our flight was delayed. It was one of those little regional airport lounges where you end up sitting quite close and there's nothing else to do, so we started talking. And he was an older gentleman, and he told me that during the Second World War, he was a pilot for the Allies, flying out of Egypt. And he had a flight late one night, and he was sitting in the officers' mess, and a fight broke out, and someone pulled out a knife. And he says to me, after a very long conversation, he says to me, there was no way in hell I was going to die in a Cairo Knife Fight, so I just left. And I thought, that's a great sounding band name.
Super, just because of how clever it sounded. But plus, it's a good mantra for your life is you don't want to die in a Cairo Knife Fight, basically. Who does?
Yeah,
who does?
Absolutely.
All right. For those that don't know, the band is from New Zealand, and it is a different experience than a lot of us are used to seeing bands. It's just two guys, but they do play all this stuff and then loop it around as we go. Kind of explain the process you guys do with your songs before we hear one on the air here at Studioeast.
Well, essentially it came down to trying to do with as much as possible with as little. And so I thought, well, I mean, I could probably play drums, keyboard, bass, and loop things and sing. And then I just find a guitarist, and he can do everything else. And bingo, we got a band. That's pretty much how it started.
So you don't need to hire anybody else. You don't need to trust anybody else with your musical vision.
Yeah.
And when the product comes out, it's exactly what you guys were looking for.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying. So, all right, let's get some music from you guys. Jax, enough with the bottles. These guys are doing the music, okay? Every noise you make here in Studioeast is heard here on stage. I'm going to break it. I'm going to break your favorite bottle. All right. Let's get a tune. Tell us what we're going to hear from Cairo Knife Fight.
We're going to do our first single, and it's called Churn.
All right, here you go. Live at the G-Spot at Gurney Mills, Cairo Knife Fight, 95 Will Rock, the Rock Station.
Hold on. Put my ears on.
Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's something in the way you're saying it. It just doesn't sound right. I'm listening to the words you're using, so carefully blind. There's a method in the way that you move, that you use to keep us all in the dark. Take your time, 'cause you're aware your people don't care what goes on in the churn. This fading light keeps burning on, keeps burning on. Here out of sight, it carries on, it's never done. are at the line where we decide what we will or won't get behind. And there's nothing in the psalm you're using that can hold back the tide. When the knives are out, they'll be coming at you, ready or not. When those lights go out, there'll be nothing to keep us apart. This fading light keeps burning on, keeps burning on. Here out of sight, it carries on, it's never done. It's over. You can follow the signs nowhere. You know what you've got behind your life. It's time for the season for reasons of standing your ground. And it's this fading light keeps burning on, keeps burning on. Here out of sight, it carries on, it's never done. No matter how you spin it now, it's come undone. Here out of sight, it carries on, it carries on.
There is Cairo Knife Fight live at 95 War Rock Studio East here at the G Spot at Gurney Mills. We got Saving Abel coming up a little bit later on. It's a twofer today here at Studio East at Gurney Mills. That's the single. By the way, these guys are kind of going around the country now doing a barnstorming tour. When are we going to be able to see the band in full-on blown-up shows? When are you going to go out and play in front of large crowds and stuff like that? You got a plan?
Well, we're on tour right now until September 21st. So if you go to our website, CairoKnifeFight.com, you can see all the dates and how close we are to you.
I see you got a Rockford show coming up in about a week, and then in Madison a little bit after that. So the closest you're going to get to our area. So out on the road now with Saving Abel. What about music? That's the single. Can we expect an album coming pretty soon, a new album?
Yeah, there's going to be a bunch of stuff. We've got an EP we're working on as well with a friend of ours that we're putting together, and then there's a vinyl release of that, and then we've got 22 songs done and ready to go, and we're just figuring out how we're going to get them to everyone. Really, we've got a video that's being filmed right now in New Zealand today for this next single we're going to play later. So there's a lot of stuff coming for sure.
Very good. And the band, of course, out right now doing some stuff with Saving Abel. When you guys do a song with all of this gear, this is quite a different experience for somebody to watch something like this. You've been doing it like a decade and a half. How did you start out with some stuff and build to this, or was it always like just so impressive out of you start like 3 pedals and just loop one thing, and now it's just a lot?
Well, when the band started in New Zealand, this is before I met George, I actually had a dream where I woke up and wrote it all down and went back to sleep that we could put all this stuff together and it would work. And then when I came to America, this guy just leveled the whole thing up even more. Like, what he's doing is far more sophisticated than what my guitarist in New Zealand did. And then that's rubbed off on me too and increased the technological base, because George is absolutely a savant with electronics.
2 guys with kind of the same process and vision, and you just got lucky and ran into each other.
Yeah.
And then it's Cairo Knife Fight.
Yeah, originally, the first tour I did with him was just this pedal board.
That was it.
Just this one. But it grew out of necessity. Believe it or not, I would hear things on stage. It's like, that's just not right. That's just not right. And a good friend of mine, Dane Friedman, helped me design everything. And I would come up with the idea and we'd build it.
So there are bands that play tracks that are already recorded into something and use that. Is when we hear a song, is there some of that, or is everything right here, right now, looped around and built in, where you're actually building a song in front of us?
Yeah, we're building it in front of you. There's no tracks there. So if we mess up and hit the wrong button, you're going to hear it.
Then you have a screwed up loop that repeatedly goes around.
Yes.
And so there's a little more pressure when you're playing something, because then it isn't one screw up, it's a screw up coming back around every so many measures.
Yeah, the best way to describe it, I always say, when you come to one of our shows, you're either going to see magic happen or a complete train wreck.
Okay, all right. And you've had, I didn't want to ask, but you've had train wrecks, or
many. The last time we were in Detroit, we made a fatal mistake. We didn't check. We had a system kind of like this, and we didn't check to make sure that everything was plugged in.
Yeah.
So in transit, the shaking of the gear popped everything out. So in the middle of one song, everything shut off.
That was it. I was going to ask if anything ever went bad enough that you had to stop and bail on it, but that just kind of did it to you. You didn't really have a choice when everything
just.
No, we kept going.
You kept going. You kept going.
We had to fix it though. Like the sound just stopped. Everything I owned stopped working because it was all plugged into the one device. So when the power failed there, I actually had to go back and figure it out. And sometimes this stuff down here, like this looper down here, it has an error message that pops up occasionally, which is the most infuriating thing in the world. It'll pop up with a message that just says, "Too busy."
Okay. All right. Sorry to bother you while we're doing a show.
And it just will stop, and I'll have to wait for it to happen.
Let me take that even a step further. The system that we're actually using today, this is the first time that we've used it completely live.
We could have a train wreck here today.
Yes. Yeah. Some of this stuff isn't even on the market.
Wow.
So my friend.
How do you get it? You got people.
Yes. Yes. Some of this stuff doesn't come out to the end of the year, but I told them that we were going to do a lot of in-studio radio performances, and he gave me before.
Must be like you're his beta tester. Put you out there, baptism.
I am a beta tester.
Yeah, very good.
I will be calling him saying, "Hey, does it do this? Because it's a little weird."
That's cool. Cairo Knife Fight is the name of the band today here at 95 Will Rock Studio East. Thanks to the U.S. Army. We're going to get one more song from you guys. What do you have for us? What can you tell us about this song?
This is the next single coming. What's out now, actually, called Nothing at All.
All right. It's Cairo Knife Fight live at the G-Spot entrance, G at Kearney Mills, Studio East on 95 Will Rock, the Rock Station.
See? Fatal flaw. I didn't plug in.
Yeah, he didn't plug in. 30 years in the industry and he forgets to plug in.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Just my ears, so I was listening just to...
my fault because I brought it up.
One more time. Okay.
Wish us luck.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 5. Dream season comes ready to fight. No fear of us one in the night. The lockstep is something always to see. I never knew just how much it would mean to me. The days I'm living while walking blind, the running ground in the daylight. Seizing the feeling how I'm riding the cold. I know it's nothing at all.
doesn't make it seem that it don't settle the score. I know it's nothing, nothing at all. Long time to keep your thoughts in chains. What were you gonna do with them anyway? It's time for fighting has all but paused. You missed your chance to land a punch that was gonna last. I'm saying that we wait and see. We can't be the only ones who ready. Send the feeling out right in the show. I know it's nothing, nothing at all. Doesn't make us even, it don't settle the score. I know it's nothing, nothing at all. Light in the ceiling is not enough. We gotta burn through all kinds of stuff. Don't say I'm the only one. 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 Don't say I'm the only one.
That is Cairo Knife Fight, 95 Rock Studio East here at the G-Spot Entrance G at Gurney Mills. Very high-tech the way you put it all together with the looping and all that stuff. It's all natural, you guys. But very old school with what the music is. The drum, you got to get the exact shake and exact movement you want out of it. So there's a tambourine and then a chain. So very future high-tech, but very old school with the actual way you guys make the music. Was that intentional? Is that like...
Well, I am hitting things, which is about as old school as it gets, isn't it?
Yeah.
Making music by hitting something.
Yeah. The music, because you talk about the equipment is new, and the music is literally future production, but past with how it's put together. Is that like you do you see that dichotomy? I don't know if that's the right word or whatever.
Because when we play live, we use a lot of real amps and not modeling. For this, of course, this is a modeling amp. But live, we stick to old school, pushing air, loud as Motorhead, with new technology that's switching the amps that didn't exist back then. So it's definitely the exact way to describe the band.
Loud as Motorhead. My lawn died the day Cairo Knife Fight moved in next door, right there. Nick, George, thank you guys for coming out, setting it all up, and playing for us today. We're looking forward to more music from you guys. And again, we can expect more from you guys sooner rather than later. You got, what'd you say, 22 songs ready to come out. We're just figuring out how we're going to release them and when they're coming out, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Actually, the exact number is 24 after the EP we just did.
Oh, there we go. There we go. And now, and then more shows I'm sure will be announced. And
Yes, absolutely.
if people want to follow along and want to know more, they liked what they heard, they're intrigued by this, which I certainly am. How, what do they want to, social media or on the web or what?
Yeah, everywhere. CairoKnifeFight.com, Cairo Knife Fight, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of it.
Thank you guys very much for coming and playing today. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
That is Cairo Knife Fight, everybody. Live at the G-Spot entrance G here at Kearney Mills. We're just a few minutes away from Saving Abel taking the stage here at the G-Spot. If you're looking to dick around today and kill a little time, come on over to Kearney Mills. Saving Abel coming up from Studio East, thanks to the U.S. Army on 95 Will Rock, the Rock Station.